What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Nintendo Hub. I'm your host, Logan, and in today's video, we're going to be doing the 50 best Nintendo Switch games to play in 2024. So, if you guys want to do me a solid, please be sure to like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment down below about your favorite game. But without any further ado, boys, let's go ahead and get right into this amazing list. So up first is Assassin's Creed the Ezio collection, and this game is an absolute masterpiece. These are the Assassin's Creed games that put the franchise on the map, so if you're wondering why all the games that are still coming out today sell millions of copies, this game is the reason why. So go ahead and pick this up if you want to see the humble beginnings and honestly the greatness of Assassin's Creed, because this was really the last time Assassin's Creed was absolutely fantastic, was these games right here. Like, there've been some good ones after this, sure, but this is the bona fide amazing collection that you guys need to play, that you're going to love every second of, that have the awesome assassinations, the great story, and the amazing moments that you need to enjoy with Assassin's Creed the Ezio collection. And this runs like butter on Nintendo Switch. It looks phenomenal, and it's just an all-around great package. So pick this one up. Up next is Assassin's Creed the Rebel Collection. Now, a lot of people think Black Flag is legitimately the best Assassin's Creed. I disagree, as you guys know. I think the Ezio Collection is better, but this game is still phenomenal, and Rogue does a really cool twist where you play as a Templar instead of an assassin, which is really cool. And then Black Flag is basically a pirate game, so if you're into pirates, you're gonna absolutely love Black Flag. And Black Flag also looks great on the OLED with the visuals popping, like the water reflections and stuff like that that you get through the OLED screen. It looks breathtaking, it looks amazing, and you're just gonna want to play the whole game through on your handheld screen instead of the actual TV on Nintendo Switch, just for that amazing pop. It's just great. So if you want a really good pirate game and a really cool take on Assassin's Creed, then get the Rebel Collection, because these games are absolutely fantastic. Up next is Assassin's Creed 3, which is one of my personal favorite Assassin's Creeds, and I know it's 3 straight Assassin's Creed games on a Nintendo list. Am I crazy? A little bit, but I wanted to give you guys some third-party goodness too on this. This game is an absolutely fantastic game set in the Revolutionary War, so if you're a history buff like myself, especially for American history, you're going to absolutely love this game, and it runs great, looks great on Nintendo Switch, especially with the up-resings and things of that nature that they do for this game. So you need to give this a try. Play it on the OLED especially, because it looks gorgeous on there. And let's go ahead and go on to the next game.
New Vault Hunter, huh? You picked a hell of a time to join the crimson.
Up next is the crazy looter shooter Borderlands 3. Now, I will say this is the worst of the Borderlands games, but with that being said, it is still one of the best looter shooters on Switch, even with that fact being present. So if you love looter shooters like Destiny and things of that nature, you're going to absolutely love Borderlands 3. The only thing I will say that holds this game back and why I think it's the worst of the three is that the narrative in this game is absolutely atrocious. So if you're playing it for the story, maybe get the Handsome Collection instead. But this game is still really fun if you just want that core fun gameplay loop and you want all the guns and all the enemies you can possibly have in a Borderlands game. Borderlands 3 is for you. Now, this is the Borderlands game that I recommend to everybody, and it's the Handsome Collection, and mostly because of Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is one of the best looter shooter first person shooters ever made, and is the best on Nintendo Switch, bar none, hands down, no competition. So if you love games like Destiny and stuff like that, and you want to play that but you have a Switch and that's not available, of course, this is the closest you're going to be able to get to that, and you're really going to absolutely love the storyline here with Handsome Jack and things of that nature. And the Vault people are actually really interesting in this game, where, you know, in 3 they're a little not that interesting because the storyline's not as good. So if you want a good story with that great gameplay that I was telling you about from 3, this is the game you need to pick up.
Rapture is coming back to life.
BioShock the Collection is up next, and these are some of the best story-driven first-person shooters ever made, especially BioShock 1 with the amazing Would You Kindly plot twist ending, which I'm not going to go into details because I'm going to be honest, all three of these games, if you have not played them before, you need to go in completely blind so you can enjoy the plot twist, enjoy the narrative segments, and you can see how the games unfold for the first time, just like everybody else did, so you can get that amazing gasp feeling when you get that plot twist, because it is insanely good. But the plasmids are also really fun to use. They give you superpowers essentially, where you can use them alongside your weapons, like your swords and your guns and things of that nature. So if that sounds fun to you, pick up BioShock the Collection, because all three of these games are absolute masterpieces. Contra Operation Galuga is next, and this game is so fun. I actually played this for the first time ever on my Steam Deck, and it run and looked great, so I thought, hey, I'll try it on Nintendo Switch. And guess what? Same thing, it runs and looks great, and with that OLED screen on the OLED, it is so damn good to look at. It pops like crazy because this is one of the most colorful games I've played in a long time. It brings back that old school run and gun nature of the original Contra games as well. So if you're worried that they're going to go the Rogue Corps route and ruin this game entirely again, don't worry about that because they actually didn't. They did their justice to the franchise, they did their due diligence, and they realized that fans want that old school run and gun style from this franchise. And this game is phenomenal. I don't know if it's sold well, I don't know how many people are talking about it. But if you have not played Contra Operation Galuga yet, you need to hop on this game as soon as you can because I think it's an underrated dang near indie gem that needs to be played by everybody, especially on Nintendo Switch. So up next is Cult of the Lamb, and Cult of the Lamb is a management sim slash roguelike that allows you to have really fun combat and a very like Animal Crossing kind of, you know, vibe whenever you go back to your villagers and your cultists as they call them in the game. And it's really cool because this game they kind of have the cultists worship you and do like whatever you want them to do, and then whenever you go into the combat, you end up fighting like these massive bosses, these little enemies, and you get all the stuff you need for your, area that you're taking care of with your cult in it. So it does really well blend combat and the management simulation that you get from a game like Animal Crossing into a really cool package for only like 20 bucks. So this game is really fun to play. It looks great on the OLED too. It runs phenomenal on Switch, so you don't have to worry about running into performance issues, which we know can be an issue with some of these titles. And you can just enjoy it for what it is. It's really cool. I enjoyed it. It's an underrated gem, and I think you guys should all try it.
Meet Dave, an interesting little human with a precarious love for the sea.
Now, up next, we have Dave the Diver, and this game proved to me why fishing is so satisfying in a video game. Because half of this game is kind of like an underwater combat slash fishing simulator kind of thing. I don't really know how to describe it, to be honest with you. It's a very unique game. But then, whenever you are at night, you have to go and manage this bar. And this game is really fun because you get to get these like little tasks where these people want you to make them certain dishes, which leads to you getting a level up of your restaurant or a level up of your chefs or whatever you want to do in the restaurant. And then you can buy new gear to go underwater further and further and find new secrets and new enemies in the ocean, which I think is really fun. And it's a kind of an underrated gameplay style because when I first started playing Dave the Diver, I thought it would be really shallow, no pun intended, and kind of boring. But then I got into it and it's really fun, man. So I cannot recommend this game enough, especially if you're into management and simulator type games. 100% pick up Dave the Diver. So up next, we have the action roguelike that started the craze, at least on Nintendo Switch, Dead Cells. This is a game that is a must pick up for all indie game fans. It is so damn good. The way the levels change, all the DLCs that have released, including the new one with Castlevania of all things, is absolutely spectacular. And I just can't say enough good things about this game. Everyone knows what Dead Cells is at this point. Fun bosses, the unique way to level up your character whenever you die and you get in this room and you get to pick all these different weapons and things of that nature that you get to take with you to the next run. It's really fun, really satisfying, and honestly really addicting. So if you want a game that can last you a really long time and give you those endless runs of just one more, that you can take and play wherever you want because it doesn't require any internet connection, then Dead Cells is 100% the game for you. Up next is the action RPG Dragon's Dogma. Now, this game is an acquired taste. I do want to say this. I like this game, but I also like hunting down, fighting dragons, and the fun combat of like climbing the enemies and stuff like that. But man, can it be boring at times if you don't like that type of stuff. So I will say, this is the one game that is an acquired taste on this list. But that being said, I love it and I highly recommend it to all of you. So if you are like me and you have my taste in games and you love action games or you fight monsters and things of that nature, and you're okay with being a little patient to try to find these monsters, it's so worth it because that unique mechanic of climbing on the enemies is just 100% the way to sell this game. And it's so much fun to encounter and, interact with and all that type of stuff. So play Dragon's Dogma. So up next is the Godzilla game that we all needed thanks to some DLC, and that's Gigabash. This game is absolutely amazing, but I will say this, in order for me to get the amount of enjoyment that I did have to buy the Godzilla DLC, because this is a Godzilla game. Once you do that, like, it's literally Godzilla King of the Monsters with a smaller roster, and it is so much fun. Like, please, Gigabash devs, make a licensed Godzilla game because this game is so good that if we had all the Godzilla characters, it might be one of the best Godzilla games of all time. That's honestly the only reason it's on this list, is with that Godzilla DLC. This is one of my favorite indie games ever because it is the Godzilla game that we have been craving for years. If you're like me and you're a fan of the IP, this game is intense, it's fun, you can pick up and throw buildings at each other for crying out loud. It's just everything you want from a kaiju game and everything you would want from a Godzilla game, minus the fact that I want more Godzilla characters, man. Make this, go all out with it. Make this the Godzilla game we all need in 2024. Up next is Hades, and this is one of the best games on Nintendo Switch, bar none, hands down. If you love roguelikes and you love those just one more run type games, you need to pick up Hades, because this is a action roguelike based in Greek mythology where you get help from the Greek gods every time you fail a run or every time you are going about into a boss fight or something of that nature. A Greek god will come down and give you a power up, and it's really cool because of that. And on top of that, you have dash abilities, you have really cool attacks that the main character can do, and it's just really fun. And also, the ending boss with Hades himself is very rewarding, and it feels really good when you finally beat him, given the nature of the game where you have to constantly do runs through all the other bosses and things of that nature to get to Hades. Even if you lose at Hades, you have to restart the whole thing, get your power-ups again, and retry. It's a really fun game, and I think that everybody will love Hades, and you need to try it out if you haven't yet. But this is a well-known, amazing roguelike that everyone needs to play.
Cloak engaged. The surf tore us down at the Lingshan Islands.
Up next is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and that is the Crysis Remastered Trilogy. I can't recommend these games enough to you guys because they are absolutely high-octane action with a really good espionage type story about alien Seth invading, and also with all the stuff with the Cell Corporation, and the first game's even set in Korea during a war. So there's a lot of things going on in Crysis Remastered that are awesome that you're gonna love to experience. And on top of that, the nanosuit gameplay is so dang good in this game. So if you like to have like invisibility for stealth and super strength for whenever the fighting gets crazy and stuff like that, this is the game for you because it has so many different gameplay styles, a lot of different weapons, and really fun destructible environments with really interesting enemies in the Seth, and this even the Cell Corp has multiple different variants that you can fight that are really interesting too. So if you love just really fun sci-fi games, you need to play Crysis Remastered Trilogy.
I want you to know the fear that is coming. This is the beginning of the end.
Up next is the Batman Arkham Trilogy, which has 3 of some of the best superhero games ever made on it. So if you are into the cape shit and you absolutely love Batman, this is a must-have for you. This game is one of the best beat-em-ups ever, has one of the most transcendent combat systems to a point where other games are now using it like crazy. I mean, there's even indie games like Midnight Fight Express who are literally taking this combat system and doing their own version of it. It is that good. And they have some really fun story moments within the Batman universe, and just the way they brought Arkham to life in these games is just insane, especially the asylum itself in Arkham Asylum. It is insane how accurate and how good they were to bringing that to life and allowing the players to enjoy that experience. Play Batman if you're a diehard Batman fan 100%. Now, up next is a game that everybody needs to play, especially if for some reason you haven't yet, and that is Hollow Knight. This game is an absolute masterpiece in terms of Metroidvanias. There's so much to do here, beautiful levels, its aesthetic is insane. It pops off the OLED screen as well for those of you Switch OLED users. It just looks and feels like it was made for the Nintendo Switch, and it is a must-have. And not only that, but it is one of the best Metroidvanias ever. So we have Metroid on this system with Dread now, and you also have this game that you could play too if you are a big-time diehard Metroidvania fan. So pick up Hollow Knight if you're into Metroidvanias. So if you're into horror games, you need to play Limbo, which is the next game on this list, and it's one of those atmospheric horror games. So if you like games that are terrifying in a way that isn't necessarily jump scares and in your face, but it's more with the atmosphere and the environments and all the things that happen to your character that are scary, then Limbo's your game, because this game is very intense in terms of that, and you really just want to see this little guy survive through every single moment of this game, and all the moments are hard to watch with him. So if you want a horror game and you want it to not be too long and you want to get it on the cheap, Limbo is one of the best ones you can get on Nintendo Switch. Now, this is one of my personal favorites. It pulls at my heartstrings, and it's Hyper Light Drifter. This is a game that's made by Heart Machine Games, which is named after a guy who's having a heart condition, and this game is actually a soliloquy of him fighting that heart condition, as the demons represent his heart and his demons that he's going through in real life, and the drifter represents him, is what he said whenever he wrote the story. So it really is touching whenever you think of that as you're playing the game, and this game is just a straight up masterpiece. It's really fun to play, it's beautiful to look at. The gameplay is hard, challenging, yet rewarding and satisfying all at the same time. So if you love what you hear there, and you love hard games, and you love heartfelt games, please go play Hyper Light Drifter. Now, up next is one of the most challenging games on Nintendo Switch, and that is Katana Zero. Now, why is this game hard? It's because it's a one-hit kill game, where you can one-hit kill your enemies, but on the reverse of that, they can one-hit kill you as well. So if you want a really hard action game where you have to have your wits about you and you have to know what's going on throughout the whole level, and you also have to be very quick and agile with your own movements and attacks, Katana Zero is the perfect game for you. It was literally designed for somebody like you. This game also has a really interesting story about the main character battling his nightmares and things of that nature as he's doing the things he's doing throughout the levels, which is really cool to have like that on the side that you can experience and have fun with. So this is a really good game. It's a really short game too, so if you want to have a fun game that you can beat in a weekend, this is definitely that one. So I highly recommend Katana Zero to everyone on Nintendo Switch. Now up next is my personal favorite indie game of all time, and that is Midnight Fight Express. This game is a John Wick simulator. I'm dead serious. If you love John Wick, if you love one-man army type games, this is the type of game you need to play right here. You can use your fists, knives, the environment, guns, anything you can think of that you want to use, you can use it. And let me tell you, the kung fu combat in this game, that's the best way I can think to describe it, is visceral, it's violent, it's over the top, it's fun as hell to play, and it needs to be experienced by everybody. The bosses in this game are even interesting too, and relatively challenging, believe it or not. And on top of all of that, the one thing that I love about this game is the fact that it is so intense and it rewards you for being more over the top. So if you want to get creative with how you fight the enemies, you can do that. If you want to get creative with how you kill them, you can do that. If you want to get creative about how you approach levels, you can do that. And the game will reward you with that, with XP and many other things that you can enjoy in Midnight Fight. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the best indie games I've ever played, and by far the best indie game on Nintendo Switch. This is my favorite Switch indie. It's not even close. You guys need to go play Midnight Fight Express as soon as you can. I think it's even on sale right now, so please check out Midnight Fight Express on Nintendo Switch. You will not regret it. Up next, the instant classic Japanese action game, which is Nier Automata. This game is so damn good. The narrative is gripping, it's intense, it's fun. It has multiple different endings, so you can play through the game multiple times and enjoy it. They even have this cool thing with the credits where you can like shoot the people that have played or made the game or something like that, and the people that played help you. It's something like that, and it's really cool that you can enjoy that. It's like an arcade game to enjoy the credits. I enjoyed that a lot, and the fact that this game has intense action combat, multiple endings, and a fun story, that alone should be enough for you. But it runs great, it looks great, and it's amazing on Switch. So pick this one up whenever you get the chance. So up next is the impossible port of No Man's Sky. Like, how does this run on Nintendo Switch? I am so impressed that they were able to get this game to run very good on the Switch, but on top of that, it looks great and it plays great, and it feels like there's little to no compromises on the Nintendo Switch version. Like, this is the first game in a long time where I feel like I'm playing like the PS4 or Xbox One version on this system. So this game is gorgeous on the OLED screen. It runs great. It's a badass space simulator, so if you guys want to play what Starfield should have been, this is it. And you can just enjoy it 100%, man. And taking it on the go is just such a huge plus. So try out No Man's Sky on Nintendo Switch. You won't regret it. Now, up next, we have the first impossible port on Nintendo Switch that I can remember, and that's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game is a fantastic game from CD Projekt Red, the makers of Cyberpunk, and these guys made an absolute masterpiece here. A very immersive medieval world where you can take a bunch of really cool, meaningful side quests, enjoy the main storyline where you end up fighting the Wild Hunt, and it's really epic and cool. And there's a lot of just awesome things here that you can dive into. I don't want to get too into spoiler territory because, again, this is another game that I believe you need to experience on your own rights so you can enjoy everything that I enjoyed and get it for a first time playthrough without knowing what it is if you haven't played this yet, because it is an absolute masterpiece and the storyline will blow you away. So play The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch. Now, up next is a remaster of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, and this game is really cool. It's very difficult, so if you don't like hard games, this is one of the harder JRPGs that I have played, but it is from, I believe, the PS2 era, maybe even PS1. So this is a really old game that's just been up-resed and ported to Nintendo Switch, so the difficulty spikes are not really shocking, but there are fun boss fights, and this game kind of has like a Pokemon aesthetic where you can like capture demons and make them do your bidding and stuff like that, kind of fight them like Pokemon. So if you enjoy that type of thing, then yeah, this is basically just Pokemon with violence. So if you like that, here it is. Go pick up SMT3 Nocturne.
Why we do what we do. And today the stakes are even higher.
Now, this is an over-the-top, wacky game, and that is Saints Row 4. Now, a lot of people actually aren't big fans of the direction that this took, but I love it. I think the ridiculousness and the just overall wackiness factor of this game really was amazing, and on top of that, the way they took this franchise was disgusting. So to be able to play the funny, nonsensical Saints where you have Johnny Gat and all that type of thing, and not have to worry about the reboot bullcrap that they did, and just enjoy this, especially in a portable format where it kind of honestly feels like it was always made for. It kind of always gave me that PSP kind of aesthetic, but it was on big consoles, which it just didn't feel right being there. So I'm so happy that it is on Nintendo Switch so we can get it in that portable form factor that it feels like it needs to be played in. But this is just a sandbox game, basically like GTA, but just way more ridiculous and over the top with aliens and stuff like that. So if you like GTA and you like over the top comedy, you're gonna like Saints Row 4, I believe. So you need to pick it up if that sounds like something you're interested in.
Hey, this is Matt, developer of Severed Steel, and I'm here to talk about some cool ways players have been playing the demo I released.
Severed Steel is a fantastic indie FPS where it really relies solely on your ability to aim and also like just the finesse of the gameplay. So this is one of those that if you're a gyro head, you need to put on gyro for this game. I personally hate gyro, but this is a game that feels like it was designed to play with a mouse and keyboard. So just a heads up there, but it's really fun. It's really challenging because the enemies actually have really good AI. So they'll do things like they'll flank you, they'll use cover, all that type of stuff. So it really is interesting in terms of that and intense at times too, because the enemies, they know where you are and they know what they got to do. So this game is really fun though. It's a really innovative first person shooter. That's the word that I want to use for this because I haven't really played many games like this other than maybe like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Trepang 2 before, but it's kind of similar to that, and Fear, obviously. Stuff like that is what this is very similar to. So if you like games like that, you're going to love Severed Steel, and go check it out on Nintendo Switch.
So you all moved in?
No, not really.
And it's Jonas? Not Jonah?
Yeah, Jonas.
Up next is another indie horror game, which is Oxenfree. This game is absolutely fantastic if you like, again, atmospheric horror where you have to do certain puzzles and things to make the world react to you, and then things happen to your characters that can be scary depending on who you are. So if that's your type of horror that you like, then Oxenfree nails that. And there's also a sequel to this game called Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals, which just takes this and expands upon it. So if you really like this game, definitely check out Lost Signals. But yeah, this is a must play if you're into like the atmospheric horror thriller type indie games on the Nintendo Switch. Party Hard 2 is an indie game where you play as a serial killer and you're trying to get away with your crimes. Now, this game is interesting because it's kind of like a puzzle game and an action game mixed together into one, where you have to do what you got to do using the environments, your weapons, whatever, but you have to do it without getting caught, and you have to do it in creative ways. So that's where this game separates itself, is it tells the story of these like serial killers and then the cops trying to catch them, and then how they're doing things in different ways and how the cops are going after them. So if you like crime thriller type games, and also obviously action games with a little bit of finesse in there required because of the difficulty of not getting caught and all that type of stuff having to be done, if you enjoy that type of stuff, then Party Hard 2 I think will be really fun for you, because this game is intense. It is really, interesting about how you have to use the environment to do certain things and stuff like that. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, try Party Hard 2 on Nintendo Switch. Up next is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now, this game is an absolutely fantastic Metroidvania set in the Prince of Persia universe, where you are actually playing as a guy who is trying to save the prince's life from evildoers who have kidnapped him. So you have to go in and destroy everything in sight, trying to save his life. It is a really good game, and this game actually blew me away because the narrative's really good. You care about the characters, including the bosses that you actually have to kill, which is interesting. And on top of that, it just really has high stakes because you know that these dudes are bad people, and you also know that if you don't save the prince, a lot of bad things are going to happen in this universe. So you're really against the wall, going fast as you can to try to save this man. So if you like intense Metroidvanias, this is one of the best. In fact, this is my dark horse for game of the year. I loved Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, so pick this up on Nintendo Switch and give it a try.
Every day young life to
Now, up next is Persona 4 Gold, and this game is an absolute classic JRPG. It is what set the foundations of making Persona the household name that it is, in my opinion, to be honest with you, because it was pretty niche. Then this game came out, everyone fell in love with it. So this game puts you in the high schools like you're used to with Persona 5 and all those type of games, but it also allows you to have the combat, and you have the different story with the TV in this game compared to the Phantom Thieves in the 5th. So this game is really engrossing, really fun. I don't want to say too much because, again, this is a game that is very story driven, and I don't want to give too much away so you can enjoy it as a first time playthrough, because this game deserves to be played completely blind if you haven't played it yet. It is phenomenal. So go try it out on Nintendo Switch.
Time to fight. Are you ready?
Persona 5 Royal is next, and as I just said with Persona 4 before, this is just the better version of that. You play as the Phantom Thieves, and you get to go through and play through the storyline, which, again, not saying a word because spoilers. If you want to experience this as a one-time playthrough, I don't want to ruin that for you. So I think it's definitely a great game. Fun JRPG combat, one of the best JRPGs ever in my opinion. Actually, like, this game is a masterpiece. So go check out Persona 5 Royal whenever you get the chance, because it is 100% worth it and you will not regret it.
Hello?
Luigi's Mansion 3 is next up on this list, and let me tell you, if you have a friend that you can play this with especially, this is a master class of fun co-op gameplay, because Luigi is the GOAT. I'm not taking that back. I love Luigi. His gameplay is fun. But on the same token, this game in general is fun because all the different floors of the mansion are really fun to play through. And on top of that, just having a game where you play as Luigi, I think, is really interesting, because usually it's Mario that gets all the spotlight. Maybe Luigi can be a side character you play as in co-op, or maybe there's a mode that you can play as Luigi for a little bit. But to have his own game is really cool. And I'm also somebody that didn't grow up with a GameCube, so I never played Luigi's Mansion like the original. I haven't played 2 either. So 3 was my first ever Luigi's Mansion, and my goodness, did it live up to the hype that I was hearing. So Luigi's Mansion 3 is a must-have on Nintendo Switch. Go get it.
It's time to engage. Emblem, engage!
Now, up next is a game that I'm actually loving and playing currently, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. Now, this game, I will say it, is not exactly a masterclass in terms of storytelling like Fire Emblem Three Houses was. I will say that. But everything else about this game, I think, is better than Three Houses. This is the best, by far, Fire Emblem gameplay in the whole entire franchise. This also has really good customizability of your armies that you can do as well. I'm really enjoying everything but the story, and on top of that, they don't have like the social aspects from Three Houses. So if that was your favorite part, then you probably will like Three Houses more than this game. But if you love the gameplay and you love the characters and all that type of stuff, and you don't really care about the social stuff within the monastery and the narrative all that much, you're okay with the Saturday morning cartoon anime narrative, then you're going to absolutely love Fire Emblem Engage. And I think this game is a must play for everybody regardless, just because the gameplay is so good. Like, this game looks beautiful as well. I love Fire Emblem Engage, so I can't recommend it enough. Go check it out. Up next, we have Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, this was also, fun fact, my first ever Donkey Kong Country game because I didn't grow up with Nintendo. I came to them late in the game. So this was my first Donkey Kong Country, and my goodness, is it good. I love this game. I think that the platforming is some of the best on Nintendo, personally. I think it's amazing. Like, I actually think that this game, you could debate platforming-wise only, really, is better than Mario Odyssey. But this game is so good and underrated, and I'm honestly shocked that we haven't gotten another Donkey Kong game, because just the platforming alone in this game is really fun and can be really challenging. So if you like that and you want to change up from Mario and you want to play as the big old donkey, go ahead and get Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Up next is Cruis'n Blast. This game is literally, if you took the arcade games from like the movie theater or stuff like that and you put them in a home console and you just ported it straight over and made the controls work and all that, that's what this is. This literally feels like one of those games. Like, if you love the chaos in those, you're gonna love Cruis'n Blast, because this game is legitimately like the old school chaotic racing game where everything's blowing up. There's a bunch of crap going on in the background. You're racing everybody. You're trying to win. You can run through buildings and all that type of stuff. Like, this is just that crazy racing game that we need to kind of accompany games like Gran Turismo and all these serious racing games. Nintendo has all the fun ones. Like, let's just be honest, Mario Kart 8, this, Nintendo's got all the fun racing games. So pick this one up and add it to your racing game collection on Switch.
The iconic adventure.
Up next is Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, this game is so dang good. It's one of those masterpiece games that is finally ported to modern platforms. So people who didn't have a GameCube, which is a lot of people because that system sold like dog crap, can finally play one of the best first-person shooters ever made with up-res graphics. This game is fantastic. The shooting mechanics are great. I love the story of Metroid Prime. I love the first-person angle. I think it's such a good place to put Metroid. Like, it just works. It's seamless. You know what I mean? So, like, this game is so good, and it's also not even that expensive. Like, it's usually $40 normally, so I can only imagine when it's going to be on sale. So go check out Metroid Prime Remastered, man. This game is so damn good. Just give it a shot, and then when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, give that a shot too.
The latest game in the Mario.
Now we got Super Mario Party Jamboree up next on this list. And if you love party games that you can just play with the family or your friends and have a great time regardless of their gaming skill, Super Mario Party Jamboree is literally like the #1 game you need to get. So many fun mini games that the whole family can play, whether they're 5 years old or 55, they can all get a hang of it. And if you guys want something that you can enjoy over the holidays, I also think this is a good game for like holiday parties and things of that nature. So definitely pick up the really fun, amazing come back to form for Super Mario Party with Super Mario Party Jamboree on Nintendo Switch.
On a seemingly normal day, Mario went to Bowser's Keep to rescue Peach.
If you ever wanted to play a Mario game where you could play an RPG where everybody is on the same team, you got Mario and Bowser working together, you got Princess Peach going on adventures with you, and then on top of that, you have new characters like Mallow, this is the game for you. Literally. This is Super Mario RPG. It's a JRPG in the form of a Mario game. It is beautiful, it is really fun to play, and the storyline is nonsensical, funny, and also just really cool. It's one of those stories that's not going to grip you per se, but it's also not going to piss you off, and it's really going to bring you in because it's like, this is Mario. Like, how'd they turn Mario into this? Like, this is crazy. This is awesome. So definitely pick it up if you want a good spin on the Mario franchise. Another must-have party game for every household is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This game is an absolute masterpiece. Honestly, it's my favorite fighting game of all time. It was Mortal Kombat, but now it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, why do I love this game so much? It is a casual player's dream where you don't have to learn combos or do anything crazy. You have a roster full of known characters that even a grandmother who hasn't played video games in years or hasn't ever played them at all would recognize and would have fun playing as. So it's just a really fun game no matter what age you are, no matter who you are. And it's a game that you can even try to get good at and play online if you don't really want to play it with your family. So even if you're playing solo, it is still worth getting because it is just that good. So pick up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Up next, we have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This game is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love Xenoblade Chronicles 1. It has friends going on an adventure with Shulk and Ryan and all of them to go and defeat the Mechons. It has everything. It has a beautiful environment, really fun action gameplay. I'm going to stay away from story spoilers here, so I'm not going to speak too much on the story. So go experience this game for yourself. That's what I can say because it is so worth it. The gameplay is automated, so you may be a little iffy on it at first, but just trust me. Once you get used to it, you're going to love it. And on top of all that, the storyline itself is going to carry you through the experience, and you're going to want to see it to the end regardless because it's just that good. So please pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on Switch. Up next is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm gonna be honest, this is everything good about 1 and 2 combined into one massive package here, with a brand new story that is beautiful to a point where it can make you cry, it'll make you very emotional. This game is just built different, and this game will make you feel a certain way about just the way everything goes in this world, because I'm telling you, there are certain moments in this game that will make you want to cry if you're an emotional gamer, so be warned about that. If you're emotional, it's going to hit your heartstrings a little bit. And on top of that, just the gameplay segments of this game are really cool. The over-the-top nature of it, you can tell that this is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You know what I mean? Like, this is the final of a trilogy, and you can just feel the intensity and everything going on. So play this game. It's amazing. I'm not going to get into story spoilers, but just know the story is fantastic here. Up next, we have what is considered one of the greatest Zelda games of all time, and that is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This game is basically Breath of the Wild if they added building mechanics and a brand new sky world and an underworld. So basically, it's Breath of the Wild, but bigger and better. So if you love Breath of the Wild, you need to play Tears because this is the definitive version and the best version of that world. And on top of that, this is the game that I like. I don't like Breath of the Wild that much because I thought it was kind of bare bones. Even though I love where they were going, I just didn't really get it at the time. But Tears of the Kingdom made me fully understand where they wanted to go with that vision. So I love Tears, and I can't recommend it enough. Pick this game up, especially since it'll be on sale soon. Up next is Super Mario Odyssey. This game is absolutely fantastic. It is one of the best 3D Marios ever made. It has phenomenal platforming, a really funny story where like you're trying to prevent Peach from getting married to Bowser. It's really quite hilarious. And then on top of that, it has interesting bosses. It has really cool set pieces. It has really fun platforming where you just get to enjoy the levels, man. Like these levels are super unique and really cool. And it's just got everything that I wanted from a 3D Mario. So if you love 3D Mario, you need to pick up Super Mario Odyssey. It's a must-have on Nintendo Switch.
In the end, you belong to neither the light nor the darkness. You will forever stand
So, slight segue into Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic because this game deserves the spot that it's at. It is so good. It is the best Western RPG in terms of Star Wars games, probably ever. And it has one of the best Star Wars stories ever told, including the films. So, if you want to experience that and you're a Star Wars fan, this is a must have for you. If you haven't played this already, especially, you need to pick this up. And having this on the go format where you can take it with you places is just sick. So, yes, pick up Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on Nintendo Switch. Back to Nintendo stuff.
Exploration.
So this is currently one of the best games on Nintendo Switch, one of my favorite games on the system, maybe even of all time, and that is Metroid Dread. I never thought I would like this game as much as I did because it's that 2D stuff. I didn't really think I would jive with that very much. Then I played it. This game is so damn good, and the Emmys terrify me. I don't know about you guys. Leave it down below in the comments if you're with me on the Emmys just absolutely making you crap your pants when they show up. But on top of all of that, great narrative. Like, I actually love the story of this game. I don't know if I'm like in the minority with that. You can let me know that in the comments too. But this game's story just really just got me invested in this world, and it makes me honestly want a sequel to Metroid Dread. I hope it happens. I don't know if it will. It took us damn near 20 years just to get Metroid Dread from what I was hearing, so we'll have to wait probably another 20 to see a sequel to it, I would assume. But this game is so good. Please pick up Metroid Dread. It's my favorite 2D Metroid of all time, and I love it to death. It's one of my favorite Switch games.
Down the track, underwater, through the air.
Now, up next is probably the best party game on Switch, and that's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, why do I say this is the best? You may be asking. Because it is the most user-friendly, get in immediately and have fun game ever made, in my opinion. You can suck at this game and still have fun playing it with your family or your friends. I suck at this game, but I love playing it. This is one of those games where it's just so fun and so addicting whenever you're with your family or friends that it just has timelessness to it. And the DLCs on top of that, giving you multiple courses and stuff like that. And all you gotta do is like sign up for Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack and you get all the damn courses. Yeah, this is 100% worth the price. It's still $60, but I don't care. This game is so good and it will live to stand the test of time, and I'm starting to wonder if we're ever even going to get a Mario Kart 9, because honestly guys, we don't need one. I want one, but we don't need it. This game has everything you want from a Mario Kart game, and it'll be hard as hell to top it, so pick it up on Nintendo Switch. Up next is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Now, I put this mostly on here because Bowser's Fury is freaking awesome. That is basically a 3D Mario game where you get to fight Bowser as a giant cat. So that's cool. But on top of that, though, 3D World, all jokes aside, is one of the best Mario games ever made. Especially, again, if you have people with you that you can play and, you know, co-op and stuff like that, because this game is so much fun. I played online co-op with one of my friends who's across the country, and we had the time of our lives playing Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So please pick this game up if you got friends and family and stuff like that, or even if you just want a badass Mario game. This is one of the best ones you can get, for real. I love this game and I can't recommend it enough. Especially play Bowser's Fury. It's fun. It really is. The Cat Mario thing is hilarious and you'll love it.
Go.
Bayonetta 3 is up next. Now, I could have put any of these games here because honestly, all three of them are phenomenal action games, and I'm a huge action game fan, so they all appeal to me. But 3 is probably my favorite just because of the kaiju fights. I'm not going to lie. I'm a Godzilla fan. I'll tell you, I don't care. This is one of those things where it's like watching two Godzillas beat the crap out of each other while everyone's dancing and stuff on the ground. That just appeals to me. I'm not going to lie. So I love Bayonetta 3 for that reason, but I suggest you check out all the Bayonettas. I think they're all really good action games with really nonsensical but fun narratives and really interesting worlds that you can explore. So play them all, but Bayonetta 3 is by far my favorite. So if you want to play my favorite one personally, play Bayonetta 3 on your Nintendo Switch. Up next is Fire Emblem Three Houses, and this is one of the best sim strategy games I have ever played in my entire life. This game is fantastic. It has one of the best narratives that'll grip you and keep you intrigued from beginning to end. And there's also multiple different endings to this game, because there's 3 houses you can choose from, which they all 3 have different companions that you can meet and end up like talking with and whatnot in the monastery, which I thought was really cool, giving them both their own unique thing so that it makes you want to play through this game multiple times. And then on top of that, just the gameplay so good. Oh my God. The strategy game, like kind of board game-esque mechanics, oh man, that is right up my alley. And on top of that, just the really cool character designs. Like, I can't think of anything I dislike about Fire Emblem Three Houses. I really can't. Like, other than the fact that I think Fire Emblem Engage is better gameplay wise, I just think that Fire Emblem Three Houses is unmatched, untouched in this genre. So if you want the best of sim strategy, you owe it to yourself to play Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is a must-have. Pick this game up.
Onward and upward.
Super Mario Wonder is the last game on this list, and man, what is there to say about this game that isn't spectacular? There's nothing wrong with it. Everything's perfect. This, when I think of 2D Mario, I think of everything Mario Wonder did, and then even some of the things that did just blow my mind and go completely out of the realm of anything I would ever think of. The Wonder Seeds alone make this game a 10 out of 10 experience. Just the complete uniqueness of it, where it just changes the levels and everything goes all crazy and wacky and fun. The second you touch a Wonder Seed is just so magical. There's just something about this game that is so anti-modern gaming, but at the same time it has a modern aesthetic to it, so it's like it has the fun elements of when I was a kid. This game brings me back to my childhood. This game makes me feel like a kid again, and that's why I think I love Super Mario Wonder. It was a true escape from reality. It was one of those games that it just felt magical from beginning to end to play it. Everything was changing with the Wonder Seeds and the normal levels. Everything was intense and fun. It was just one of those things where I was constantly into it. I was constantly enjoying every moment of it, and I just had a smile on my face going through this game from beginning to end. So I love Mario Wonder, and I cannot recommend this to you guys enough on Nintendo Switch. Go pick it up. Well, woo-wee, everybody. So there's the list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And on top of that, I want to know, did I miss anything? Drop it down below in the comments. Let me know. Also, tell me if you're picking up any of the games brought up in today's video, or any games that you want for me to review, talk about, or whatever in future videos. Go ahead and tell me down below in the comments. I read every comment, so I'll be sure to see it. And also, on top of that, be sure to drop a like, because the algorithm will love me if you do. And on top of that, it's right next to there. And if you're here at this point, you've been here forever, so that means you probably enjoyed it. So go ahead, drop a like. And on top of all of that, if you want more awesome Nintendo goodness with news, reviews, collecting, all that type of stuff, and even list videos just like this one, be sure to drop the subscribe button. Go ahead and drop your Mushroom Kingdom on it so that you know every single time I upload a video, and you will never miss anything awesome. And if you want to know what you're in for, be sure to click one of these videos here on the left. I'm pretty sure that you'll love it. It's masterpieces, I promise. I made them, so I know, and no bias, I promise. And we shall see you in the next one. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace out.